Hey, it's James from Finney Electrical. On today's video, we're at the climbing lab, and this is the dual stack fuse board. Let's get into this. Right, so into the job then. So we have got fuse box pink fuse box going in. So we've got them for a dual stack then. So if you look at this little space it's got to fit in. So we've got to fit it between here and here. These shelves we're going to take out because we're going to have some nice little box trunking coming along the top, along the side, on the bottom. Just we've got loads of cable entry. And then what we've got to do is obviously feed the board with the tails. So these tails will probably get replaced. It'll come into the top of the isolator, and then obviously that feeds two racks. We shall show you that. This is your dual stack fuse board. 1, 2. So what you can do with these is have maybe on peak supply, off peak supply, or if you've got solar and you want like a backup system, you can make these your essential circuits, these your non-essential, stuff like that. So you got a bit of options with this board. But for this scenario then, we just want loads of circuits and to fit vertically. So you can get a long one as well, but we want the nice thin dual stacked just so it fits in that gap nicely. So it's the new SPD then. So for this, this has got a built-in fuse then, so this can come straight off the main switch without having an extra device to fuse it down. So we've got the pink SPD in there, type 2. So that's the surge protection, so if there's any surges coming in, it's going to save your electronics into it, so it's pretty good. And then we've got 23 circuits, so we've got 11 on here, and you got 23, you got 12 along there then, and then that's it then. So we're really looking forward to installing this little beast. Let's make it a good one. Right, that's the lid off then. So what we'll have to do then is take all the internals out. So we'll pop all these off. There's 3 screws there, 3 screws there. Take the neutral out, neutral, earth, and this whole thing will pop off. Then what we're going to do then is give loads of access. So what I want to do is get like a T-piece along the side of it, something like that. And then what we're going to do is the piece coming across, which will have an end cap on, we'll basically cut. I think it's like a 40mm slot, but basically it's got to land, it can't clash with this, so it's got to land in this gap here. So we're going to cut a hole here, angle grind across, cut a hole there, grommet strip that up, then pop that up to the trunking, cut that out, and then we've got loads of access for the top, for this section here, and then that'll carry on downwards then, and then a 90 along the bottom, and then we'll do the same again. So we'll just cut a big hole here, access at the bottom. And then obviously the piece coming along the bottom, we'll have to cut a hole, or we've got a big compression gland somewhere, but the main tails are going to come through that, up through trunking, probably up through here or up and round and in to live and neutral here to power up the board. So there we go, a bit long-winded. But before we do that, Andrew's just taking these shelves out here. So what we're going to do then, we've got to get a 2.5 cable all the way down there. So that should be interesting. So we're just going to lash it in for now. There's 1 cable for a heater, 1 cable for a socket that's going to go underneath the switch, and then we're going to clip it all in afterwards, so that should be a bit of fun. So we're just going to use a bit of 2.5 flex then. So obviously 2.5 clip direct can take 27 amps I think. What we're going to do then is get it clip direct and bang out like a 20 amp breaker or something for 1 heater and a 20 amp breaker again for the socket. So, but yeah, ready for a bit of climbing, eh? Right, I'm just going to reel off what we need then, because we might as well run 2 at once then. So I'll run 1 long enough to go to the socket and to the fuse board, and then what I'll do is chop that and then attach it to a second piece which is long enough to go to the heater location. Right, you ready to see the Yorkshire stride? This is an amazing technique, so just leave him in there then. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we had 4 meters to kind of go 1, 2, down the trunking, 3, 4, yeah. So if I left like 4 meters for this end, and then essentially it's going to bust out of there, come along here. So that's the same distance as this door going that way. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. That gets us to here. And it's just a straight run. 14 gets us to here. There's a socket going to there. So if we come along, it's probably going to be 14, 15, 16, 17, So what do you think? If we'll be safe for like 18, 19 metres reeled off. So obviously when you're reeling it, it's, for me, it's my chest to the out, and that is 1 metre. So we've got 17 of those to pull off and then chop. Right, I'll give that a chop then. That should be long enough. So then what we'll do is just mark up one end, so we'll give it one little dash, so that'll be for a socket then, and then we'll mark up the other end with one, and then on this end we'll have 2 little dashes. When we're running in this is going to go to the heater. When we get to that end, we'll know which cable is which, because it's the same looking cable, obviously. Let's try to get this running. Yeah. Alright, so obviously this will come through along, clip along, around, through into his fuse board area, and get up there without wrecking a leg. I'm up. This is a lot harder one-handed. A lot I do to kung fu fighting today, look at this. Oh. Right, I'll get it running, I'm gonna clip back after. Now look at this little pause. Ooh. That is tight, isn't it? Oh, right. Let's carry on the good. Right, so we can get through. Nearly that. Oh, down we go then. Right, so. Yeah. Something's spiking me. It's a piece of. It's a screw. Right. So there's the stairs. So just underneath the stairs, that little gap there is where we want to bring our cable out. That's going to be the heater cable. And the 20 amp switch for that's just past the stairs. And the socket is just down there. So we're there. Right, so we're just going to take a picture of this side of that. Obviously we can work off that. Obviously we don't want to be putting through a back box. That'll clash with this piece of wood going down. Oh, that upright. So 450 off the bottom. I know you can't see, but it should land in a space like this down there. So that's what we want to aim for. That's popped out nicely. That's going to get putting some conduit across to a little fuse spare here. Heater's going to sit in the middle of that sign. Perfect job really. So let's just get a bit more on that. There we go. So about there should be fine then. And then using that picture then, so there's a big log here, wasn't there? So if we just fit in that gap using that picture, we should be able to chop out a double socket there then, get a plastics box on, or a metal box and screw through the sides. And bring that cable through. So, but that's for another day. So, but yeah, we're here for like 3 days just to do loads of different jobs. But yeah, back to the fuse board. Right then, so just getting this slot cut out then. So it's gonna be 40mm. So, and we don't want it to clash with that obviously. So we've just measured that up. So if that sits here, it shouldn't clash. So we should be able to do 40mm. Add your grommet strip on after. Brad's gonna come with that grommet strip. Alright, got on it, run out. So we've come obviously to 40mm, so we've got 20mm off this line here. And that's the centre point. 20mm off this, that's the centre point. So when we drill that, and then angle grind between, we should have a nice little oval slot cut out. And then obviously when we butt that up to the trunking, that'll get drawn onto the trunking. Then we cut the trunking out, we should have a nice little entry way for all the cables to fit through. Right, that's this bit prepped then, so we're going to get this attached to here, if you can see in here. But first we have to disconnect all these old stuff, get them tallied up into the new fuse bar position. So we're just assigning then what's going where then. So we're just going to look at these labels here, look at these labels here, and then decide in order. I like to go from like highest to lowest. Plus we're going to take into consideration, it'll go 1 to 12, because obviously the 13 is the SPD on the top bit. The bottom bit will go 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 all the way to 23. So we're going to take into consideration the cable length of these and the cable length of these So obviously these cables we're probably going to want to sit in the top section, otherwise they're not going to be long enough for there. So we're going to obviously think about that. So yeah, should be interesting. And then obviously these cables should be way more than long enough to go down the trunking, up the bottom and into the bottom section. Oh, we're getting there slowly, but look at this. All the cables kind of disappear up there, so we're just trying to bundle them, get a fixing above so they could kind of come down. So if the fuse board's there, conduit going up, it's going to build a ceiling at that height just below there, around. So there will be a ceiling to this, so the cables will come down through the trunking. So I'm just going to make sure that bundles in at the correct bits. And obviously we've got cables coming this side, so we're going to have to get some fixings here, get a fixing on this wall, so they kind of come down, so they're fixed securely and adequately. Right, board's on, the angle piece is on. I've even put the front on so you can kind of gauge, because once you fix it, sometimes it's a bit wibbly wobbly as far as the front until everything's attached to each other. But that's on just to keep everything nice and snug, and these are just on angles. But that should, once we get that piece, line up nicely. So we do have to take into account the board, but what we've done is use penny washer fixing, so these will move about just to make things a bit easier to fix. So I'm just going to cut the upright, the piece going across, piece coming down and under. So that's what we're doing now then. So let's get this angle grounded, what we're going to call it, and we will hopefully get the trunking bit up, and then we're going to start wiring it up. We've got Brian as a backup then. Where's he gone? Yeah, so he's brought the goods. We've got the grommet strip. I'll get that installed then. I'm going to finally get the cables in. And yeah, we'll have to finish off the trunking tomorrow, I think. So we're going to run out of time. They need the power backup. So we'll have to just temporarily get it in nice and quick, and then just sort out the trunking later. We're going to start to populate it now. I don't know if you can see. But that says grommet strip on, cables in, trunking. Got some more round band, we'll tidy that up a bit more later. But yeah, I'm just clipping these in now. What do you think of these biscuits? That's not too bad, is it? So yeah, we're going to put the small grommet strip on there, because two on top of each other is too fat. So we'll have to sort that out, but yeah, it's looking good so far. So we're going to get the neutrals into the neutral bar for both sides, get the earths in for the circuits, and then lines and neutral into the RCBO, and that's all she wrote then. Right, we're back. So just went for a cheeky Nando's with Brian, just do a little team meeting. So it's supposed to be at the end of the day. Obviously working late, we went anyway, but it means I'm working into the night. So we're just getting the RCBOs in. I don't know if you saw these, can't remember what we got up to. All them kind of go down, round, up, and they're going to just swoop into here nicely. All your cables will be off through high and down into these breakers, and then all these hopefully should come up the jacksy and into these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 circuits. Right, that's as far as we can take this tonight then. So we've got these RCBOs all in, they're all terminated, the trunking's on, end cap's on, we've got the main tails in, so that's looking sexy coming through there. If you look at the back there, it's tie wrapped in nicely all the way up the back and into your line and neutral, into your main breakers there, obviously neutral, main earth and your surge protective earth, and that is all she wrote so far then. So tomorrow then we'll come down, we're just going to get these in then. So we're going to tidy all these cables up here, get the right fixing so it's kind of held, and then sort all this mess out. So we're going to send a cable to refeed this power supply. I might put it on its own unit. I'm going to refeed switch fuse spur for that, and then emergency lighting. Going to get another cable out for the emergency lighting, but apart from that, that should be everything sorted then. So a bit of a mish sorting all this rubbish out, but it should look pretty good once it's done. Right, we're back to the grind then. New day, new dollar. Got my sleeving ready. Terminate some cables. let's get into this then. Now a bit further on now then. So we've got his power supply in. That's his fuse spur for the power supply. I know it's normally unswitched, but whoever installed it before did it switched. I've got this guy to wire up before everything connects back up then. So it's got that above that ceiling level, which will land here. Everything's tied up a lot nicer now. These cables then, so a few aren't long enough, so we just like to extend them with through-way goes. So they just through-way go through, and then up into his breakers then. So that's this side done then. So earth's coming to here for circuit, what have we got, 12, 13, 14 and 15. We've still got a socket that we run in yesterday, and the two heaters to go in here. So one's going to go down that way, another one's going to go above us for the changing rooms. But yeah, that's this side wired then. If you can see that then, looking nice and tasty. So now I'm just going to wire up this top section now with this bundle here. There we go then, that's looking absolute tasty. So we've got all the cables in now, finally. All these swoop in nicely, so we'll get a tarp on that. They swoop in, chopped perfectly. And that is this job bit done. So, I don't know what I said then, job bit done. Yeah, so it's got to wire into neutral and L1, I think it is, for this site. And then, yeah, we'll get this board powered up. And that's all she wrote then. It should all just power up, get tested, and done. Yay, Matt's arrived. Look at this, he's got a posh coffee. He'll be drinking it. Ah, I'm spilling mine. He'll be drinking it with his little pinky up, won't he? Let's see if I can do it.
Less one.
Right, so he's got his socket done. I bet it looks absolutely tidy. See his other end of cables. So you've just got to get down there and clip it, you see it? It's alright climbing it.
You've got to clip all that?
Yeah, we've just got to clip it along. This one, there's two of them we've running.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking, mate. It's a bit. I'll do it, Mr. Rock Climber will do it. No, don't expect you doing that. Well dangerous.
Monkey bar.
Actually, good job. It's my own company. I like this. Up in show, just don't watch. I like this, like leaning like this, like next one, and then pulling through. You know, well sketchy. There we go. We'll get another match reaction to the. Look at that little. Not too bad, are there? Anyway, that's Matt's face. So I'll take the bar cover off.
Like I say, I like it on the two levels. I think it makes them look proper.
But your boards are quite neat, aren't they? So,
oh, thank you.
Look at this.
That's right. Oh, it only just fits that, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, not bad
That's
that, is it? That's pretty sexy.
It is
like,
nice and neat, that actually. It's really neat.
There we go, a bit of clean up. That's Matt's sexy socket. He's multi-tooled that perfectly. Looking good. I'm showing Matt where we need to go next then. So this is the climbing wall. How are you meant to do all this? Don't even know. Anyway, so there's a socket going down here, so after extent ring here then, send some cables through the back of the climbing wall, and he wants to socket down there on that triangle bit there then. So that's one of the next jobs. Right, let's have a look at Matt's van then. So from the last van video, we had Matt's new van. Let's see how he's kitted it out then. Hey, look at this. Got his ladders in. He's got rid of his bit of foam. Hey, nice place for his cable and sleeving. Very nice, Matt. Looking very tidy, I must say so. He's got the same roof rack as me. What was it, a beaver or something? What do they call it? Turtle. I knew it was some animal. But that's spot on, that, isn't it? Very nice. And this is his side door then. Looking very tasty then. So everything's in there. Are you going to get some bungees like Brian said? Have they not flew away yet?
They've not flew away yet, but with the kit that you got him with all tools, you got one of those big boxes, didn't he?
Yeah, they fly about.
He's going to give me Yeah, but the Milwaukee one's
Oh,
bigger than the
yeah,
bottom
yeah.
one.
Oh, nice.
So I can attach my fixing straight to it and stuff.
Yeah, look at that, very nice. And with this van, we've got a side door, haven't we, with this one? Look at this. This is just for like little knickknacks, isn't it?
Aye.
There you go. Light switches, Wago boxes, so you know what's going where. I like it very much so. Well done, Matt, looking cool. Alright, we're just on to the labelling of the board then. So we've just done one, so I'll show you that. So here's some nice sexy labels. So what we do then, so we've got this Brother app. So I've done is done the spacing at 18mm. You can do 17.9, it'll work out a bit better, as I found out. But yeah, we'll just level it up now then using the app. What you do is, if you put a single one in and just type in sockets, there you go, look there, it's massive compared to everything else. What you have to do is if you're going to do a single line on this app, then you do a space. If it's just one word, write sockets and then a space and then return, so you've got like a line underneath, and it should appear nice and small like the rest of it. Yeah, we're just going to get all this into here then, and then we're going to press print. It should print a nice sexy label off. Nice, look at that. Pump firewall sockets, pump near wall boiler sockets and so on. Hey. And there we go, that's it's all labelled up then. Got all the trunking lids on. That's looking super smart. Nice job. Don't say so myself. So I've got this like really fat, it's like a 24mm tape, and you can enter the date, press enter. It's one sticker. That's super neat, but look at that, that'll do. That's everything labelled up perfectly. And then the bottom rack, we've got some spare ways on there for some more circuits if they need in the future. So tell me what you think about this setup then, if you do anything different then. But it's about as neat as you're going to get it for what it was, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I've got time for today then. So if you like this kind of content, hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you know when we next upload. So it's always a good one from me, and we'll see you on the next one.